right, how's it going, my friends? Aaron Michael Eschenberg here with bringing you some honest astrology. Today we're going to be talking about Venus. Venus has just moved into Pisces, the place where it loves to be the absolute most. So before we get into all the amazing goodness and opportunities that are coming from now until April 20th, right, is when Venus moves out and moves into Aries. So from now, let's talk about where we've been. So back in October, November, we had a Venus retrograde. Venus retrogrades are brutal. Absolutely brutal. And absolutely necessary at the same time. We had 3 in a row, all right? So we had a Mars retrograde, which happens once every 2 years. It's the rarest of all the retrogrades because Mars is a slow-moving planet. But it's a slow-moving personal planet. Anyway. So once every 2 years, Mars retrogrades, and when our planet of action retrogrades, we have a hard feeling of moving forward. You know, we feel a bit stuck, a bit confused in where we're headed, and that happened for like almost 6 months in the sign of Aquarius. Insane. Almost 6 months. Now, Mars usually takes about 60 days to move through a sign. Okay, so 6 months in Aquarius. We got to think about the future. We got to, think about the future. We got to think about the community. It was like, how can I think about the community when I don't even want to leave my house? I don't even want to go do anything, So we had that, and then boom, Mars went direct, and then the Venus retrograded from Scorpio back into Libra. Over here, Scorpio back into Libra. And Venus and Scorpio, hidden truths, hidden gems at the bottom of the ocean. Sometimes when you open those up, they put you on a new path. I know it's the hardest time for relationships. Either they hit rock bottom and they separate, or they find a brand new, like glimmer in the eyes and look at each other just like, oh my God, I love you so much. I know a lot of relationships from October, November last year that suffered, 30-year marriages fell apart in almost the blink of an eye. Very long-term relationships, long-term, commitments, fiancés separating, couples just separating, moving away. Okay, so in Venus retrogrades, we tend to reanalyze. Retrograde is like a review time. Reanalyze, rethink things through. Why do I love this? Why do I love this soda? Or why do I love this, kind of food? Or why do I love this color? Or why do I love sitting down behind a computer talking about astrology? Why do I love who I love? The people I love, not just the things I love. Venus is, all encompassing. It's love. What do you love? Who do you love? Why do you love them? So that why is what happens during the retrogrades. Why do we love this? Why? So then after this Venus retrograde, Mercury retrograded, literally the same day. It was like November 16th. So then it's like Venus went through her shadow period, moving through, actually it's over here. Venus went through her shadow period, moving back through Libra, back because it's like justice. We need to go back to justice to make things right and equal. Now, the same time this happened, Jupiter left Scorpio and went into Sagittarius. Okay. Now, Jupiter in Scorpio was very heavy. Jupiter in Scorpio was, it's bringing the dirt out. Absolutely. Harvey Weinstein. That whole epidemic, that whole thing that happened was very necessary to come to the light. Anytime things are in Scorpio, it's about bringing things to the surface, transformation and things coming to the light. Scorpio is the only sign that has 3 archetypes. Now, all that we see is the Scorpio. It's like the scorpion, it's the dove, or it's the eagle, then it's the dove, right? So there's 3 layers: the scorpion, the eagle, and the dove. So once it comes up, it transcends and becomes an eagle, okay? With, precise vision, very focused, passionately driven, right? We're talking about Scorpio here, the second ruling planet, or the second ruling sign of Mars. Very passionate. Very passionate. So then, but it's still this carnivorous bird. It's still a meat eater, right? The eagle. It still seeks out its prey. So the third facet, the third, transformation is the dove. A very peace, the sign of peace. The sign of peace. Which is funny because you don't often think of, a Scorpio and you think of, oh, this pretty white dove. You think, ooh, you know, cold, and they got that tail, and they're secretive and sexy and passionate and all of these, you know, mysterious things, right? Well, that mysterious stuff had to come to the light. This mysterious stuff needs to come to the light to be open and honest, to be authentic, be who we are, right? So Jupiter moved out of there into Sagittarius. Then Venus finally left and joined Jupiter in Sagittarius. So it's just like, okay, so now that we're thinking of new ways to heal ourselves. You know, Sagittarius is all about the higher learning, higher education, and having faith. So it's just like we went through this brutal, like, uncovering, like this snake shedding its skin, or, you know, this shedding the exoskeleton and re-emerging. And something I talked about in the daily video just, you know, a couple days ago is this when Venus was at 29 degrees Aquarius. It's literally the catalyst of the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. You know, mega transformation that happened just Tuesday. So mega transformations. When Venus was in Sagittarius, it was like we needed to learn. We needed to learn what we just went through when it was in Scorpio. You know, it's just like, dude, that was a complete unraveling. It's just like, you know, it's just like trying to put something back in the box. If you open it up, you're like, how do they do this? How do they package this stupid thing? How do you get a yarn roll to roll up like that? It's beautiful. Yeah, I have no idea. So it's just like this relearning. You know, relearning was very necessary. And then she moved into Capricorn for a month, and then Aquarius for a month, where she's just been. So for the past 2 months, you know, we're talking about the least emotional signs in the zodiac. There's nothing wrong with that. One is very business driven, you know, very business minded, very loyal, have a lot of heart, the Capricorn. Again, we're not talking about sun signs. We're talking about the overall general energy of the sign, right? Capricorns are very loving people too. So, but in terms of the zodiac, Capricorn and Aquarius are the least emotional signs. They're like, dude, I need to get down to business here, and I can't let the emotional weight of whatever you're talking about or whatever this is stop. You know, there's 1,440 minutes in the day. There's a point where that sun goes down, and I have a job to do. This barn's got to be raised. Come on, Jebediah, let's go. You know, whatever it is. So, because I'm Amish, clearly. And then Aquarius is like future thinking. It's community driven, but it's future thinking. So we're not, you know, it's just more like, well, what can we do as a community in the future? What kind of things can we plan? What can we, you know, how can we tackle this instead of just going to the bar and drinking, instead of just going and doing this? So it's more strategic, more methodical for the past 2 months. You know, so it's like we haven't really come back to a place of really allowing this openness in the heart, right? We've been kind of closed off, a little guarded. It's been winter time. People want to hibernate, go internal. And this, you know, Mercury retrograde going internal. So now, later, you know, it is finally passed. Everything is kind of finally moved. And it's just like, okay, we're in the completion sign of the zodiac. Pisces loves to be in Neptune. Or Venus loves to be in Pisces. Jesus. Pisces loves to be in Neptune. You know, it's this ruling sign, ruling planet. Anyway, Venus loves to be in Pisces. Venus is everything we want, love, and desire, okay? Everything, the kind of car you drive, the shirt you're wearing, the pants, the skirt, whatever. It's the shade of eyeliner you have on. It's how you did your hair. It's the person that's your best friend. What makes, you know, you like your job. Venus is everything outside of self that we want, love, and desire, okay? So in Pisces is, for one, it's the end of the zodiac, so it's completion. Yes, completion. It is the experience, but it is also limitless, okay? No one can tell you how to love. No one can tell you who to love. No one can tell you to stop loving. Well, they can, but that doesn't work, does it? You know, don't love me anymore. I hate you. Oh, I just love you even more. You know, but it's like, there's no limit. There's no limit to love. And I love Western science. I love modern science. But honestly, like, I'm an Eastern mysticism guy. And for fact, there are things that Western science simply cannot measure. You know, science cannot measure how much a person loves someone else. You can't measure that. You may be able to see it somewhere in the electromagnetic field, something lighting up, but like you can't truly measure. You have 16,444 love units for your, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, roommate, cat, dog, whatever. It's like we can't measure that love. We can't measure how much we appreciate something. We can only show that person, that thing, how much we appreciate it. So Venus loves to be in Pisces. So like I said in another video here, Venus in Pisces sometimes can be looked at as, seeing the world with rose-colored glasses. I personally don't identify with that particular view of Venus in Pisces. I like to look at it as you're seeing the potential. You're seeing the world and individuals for the potential that they are, that they could also be. Does that make sense? So it's not just about what something is. It's about where something's going and what something could turn into, right? If I don't know you and you don't know me and all of a sudden there's an attraction, well, I mean, you're not my significant other, but it doesn't mean you couldn't be. You know what I mean? Like, so there's what something is, and there's the possibility of where this could go together. So when we see we see Venus in Pisces, my goodness. I'm not reading from a script here, all right? Forgive me. When we see Venus in Pisces, that rose-colored glasses, that tinted love kind of a thing comes up. But at the same time, to me, it's like taking the veil off. It's like you're seeing something truly what it is. You're seeing the truth without, when the lights are on, we see the differences. When the lights are off, we're all the same. We're just people that need, people that love, people that want to be held. When the lights are turned on, now there's a, separation and all of this stuff. Well, we're talking about the void. Pisces, this endless, limitless void. The lights are off, and it's just endless amounts of love, endless amounts of possibilities, endless amounts of opportunities. So it's just like, all right, we've had to tie all of this in together, what's going on in the big picture of astrology. We have Saturn in its home sign of Capricorn, making a sextile to Neptune in its home sign of Pisces. Okay, this is an aspect that I've been talking about for a couple weeks now. It's something that it's going to happen this year, and it'll never happen again for thousands of years. All right, Saturn and Neptune will sextile, but not in each other's home signs. This one takes 30 years. Saturn takes 30 years to go around. It takes like 176. So will Saturn come back to Capricorn in our lifetime? Hopefully you are all alive in the next 30 years. Yeah. Will we be around another 176 years when Neptune comes around? No, I hope not. I hope not. I don't care how good science gets. I don't think I want to be alive another 176 years. It'll be 200 and what doesn't matter. So we will not see it. So it's just like these are in their home signs. They're amplified. We have perfection and manifesting and karmic, and then we have dreams and possibilities, and there's no clear-cut picture. There's no clear-cut design. There's no clear-cut answer. Okay, it's Disney World, man. That's something I talked about a while ago. Walt Disney, not everyone saw the vision that Disney had when he was creating the Magic Kingdom down in Florida. It's like, dude, you're building on swamp. You're building on swamp ground. There's nothing there. That's fine. They didn't see the vision. They didn't see what he had in his head, right? So we're in this very, very unique time of our lives where we literally can recreate our lives, where we can look at ourselves as the individual in the swamp. We are the swamp, but we can see our own magic kingdom. We can see this light in here. We can see the potential for what is coming from us and what we're going to bring and the joy that we're going to bring to all of these people. I mean, look, how many thousands of people show up to freaking Disney every single day? This is my kid's dream. We saved for years for this. That could be you. That could be you leaving your house every single day. And people are like, Tony Robbins, it cost $1 million. I just met with somebody that did a Tony Robbins thing recently. I've got a couple of friends that have. $1 million for a one-on-one. Now, when Tony was 7 years old, I don't know, I never met the guy, but when he was 7 years old, do you think he was just like, oh yeah, in the future I'm gonna be doing these one-on-one consultations where I'm making $1 million for a 1 hour one-on-one? Probably not. That probably developed later in his life. So it's just like, okay, so the ideas that you had maybe last year aren't fitting into the same ideas you're having this year. Or maybe the ideas you're having this year supersede, which they should absolutely be superseding and going above and beyond the ideas of where you were at last year. Where were you in December of 2018? We've gone leaps and bounds since December of 2018, right? So we're in this like recreating life mode. We're in this recreating this new vision of ourselves mode that I've been talking about every single day on these daily horoscopes. So this coming into full-fledged here, we haven't had Venus in a very positive, opportunistic sign since the retrograde that happened last year, you know. So when it's in Pisces, it's like, oh, thank God. You know, it's been almost 2 years since it's been there. 2017-ish? Yeah, 2017 was the last time that Venus was in Pisces. So this is like an amazing opportunity to re-spark your joy and your love, you know. It's like, no. So yeah, somebody put out on Facebook earlier, like, oh, who's monogamous and who wants, you know, open relationships? And I just curious on the comments, you know, and some people were like, I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. It's like, come on, you don't actually believe that. You don't actually want that. And if you do believe that, you don't want that, you know. So we're layering concepts on ideas, but it's just like the heart of you, the real meat down at the bottom. Of course, you want to have a relationship. You want to love and be loved and be able to communicate openly and connect with people. I mean, that's part of being a human being, but we've been so isolated. We've been so hibernating for so long, and especially since October, November of last year, we've been closed off. Well, now we have this opportunity to be open. And not only do we have this opportunity to be open, but today, as it's in the very beginning degrees of Pisces, Venus is at 1 degree right now, 1 degree of Pisces. Now, that's a water sign. Water and earth are the creation of life, right? Feminine energy, divine feminine energy. Taurus, the ruling sign of Venus, as far as personal goods go. Libra is the other one, and that has to do Libra, that has to do with other people. So in Taurus, where am I at? Shoot. All right. Libra, Taurus. So Taurus is about our personal possessions. So Uranus and Taurus is about personal possessions and money and the things, personal things, you know, things that we have, things that we want, things that we desire, things that we're doing. So they're really up right now. This is creating, Uranus is creating this perfect sextile. 1 degrees, earth, 1 degrees water, okay? This is a mega, like, it's the rush. It's like the dam has been lifted and the water is flowing, you know? And what's flowing? We're talking about love, man. We're talking about the goodness of life. We're talking about, it's springtime again and the sun is out and I don't have to wear a coat and I've cleaned the fridge and the cupboards and, you know, it's just like there's new life. We're breathing new life. There's new light coming in through our eyes. There's new love pouring out from our heart, right? Cup is full, share it, right? If there's light out there, absorb it. If you're creating a light, pass it along. Give it to some other people. So we're at a really amazing opportunity to re-spark love right now. We're at an amazing opportunity to like jumpstart this. You know, it's like the defibrillators are on with Uranus creating the sextile. Clear. Oh my God, I can see the colors again. I can see the light. I you know, like there is a possibility for me to find love again. There is a possibility. And it starts with here, right? We have to get up in the morning and love ourselves. Sun in Aries. We got to love ourselves right now. We have to love our own path. We have to love the journey of where we've been. I can wholeheartedly tell you that in 2015, during a Venus retrograde, I split up from a very serious relationship with someone I loved absolutely dearly, just to the core of my being, right? And at the time when we separated, oh my God, it was a disaster. I mean, I was a mess, an absolute mess. And I would have traded, during that time, that for anything in the world, for anything. Now here we are, 2019, you know, almost 4 years later, where this heart has been, what these eyes have seen, you know, it's just like, man, I'm thankful. the love is still there. I still love the individual, but boy, am I so thankful for the separation, so thankful for receiving that heartache, so thankful for the pain, for the loss, for the lessons that I've learned since then, that I would not trade it for the world. And that's a really weird thing to say. Like, truly, truly, absolutely beyond thankful. You know, as hard as it was at the time, now it's like beyond thankful, and with a heart so full of love. And without, you know, and here's another thing. With the North Node being in emotional Cancer, with Neptune and Mercury being over here in Pisces, with Venus being over here in Pisces, we're about compassion right now. We're about forgiveness and unconditional, you know. Unconditionally, like if you do something terrible, the worst thing in the world, Earth doesn't just say, "Oh, I'm not going to supply you with oxygen. No more oxygen for you." You know, it's unconditional. If you got a fruit-bearing tree in the backyard, if you water it, it gets sun, it's going to bear fruit. It's not conditional. It's not something that's just like, "Oh, Johnny, you were kind of a jerk the whole year. You're getting coal in your stocking," you know, like. No, that's not how it works. It's unconditional. It gives. So it's only us human beings that we put these conditions on things. Well, you did this to me. And now there's this consequence and this reaction and a lack of, you know, I did love. And now because of this, this, and this, I can no longer love you. Or I think something, or you are toxic. This relationship was toxic. You know, man, that word has flown around a lot recently. And I can honestly say, if every person you've been dating is toxic, why are you attracting toxic people? Just saying. You know, we got to really be careful on how we use that word. Like, anyway, that's not the point of this particular conversation. It's the point of this one is to reopen up this unconditional, right? Love the people who hurt you in the past. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to re-spark that. If it's time, maybe it's time. Who knows? But it's like, it's not the point. Still, it's like, but not holding on to this condition, not holding on to the hurt, not holding on to something. It's truly letting go, you know. And Pluto, I just talked about this in the daily that's coming out tomorrow. Well, Pluto is connected there with the South Node right now. The biggest transformation in self, in letting go. This is the biggest, and it's going to be with us for a couple of days here. The biggest letting go. Let go, and let flow. Let go and let be. Let go and let flow. Whichever way you want to say it's letting go of these things. So you can really grab yourself and here, you know, like take a hold of yourself, take charge. You know, it's like breaking the reins, breaking the chains, taking the reins. I think I said that backward, but you know what I'm saying. Breaking the chains and taking the reins of your own life and being open to love. Being open to the new possibilities, truly breathing in that unconditional love. And when you hold that and you forgive yourself and we forgive others, we're going to find that it is just knocking on our door right now. And it just, you know, being our own smiling selves, being our own authentic, just being you, being the awesome person that you are, is going to attract the best people into your lives right now. It's just how it works. It's how this works, okay? We got Venus in Pisces until the 20th of April. Here on the... Now, it's going to be squaring for a couple of days here. Actually, for like another week, it's going to be squaring Mars, which is an interesting kind of battle. But the ultimate winner is love. Love wins. Love wins. Love wins. Open up to love. Open up your heart. Open up to love. We have a good month ahead of us right now, and it's something that we've needed. It's something that we've needed since last November, October. So get excited. This is really good times. Don't hold on to anything. We're going to put out more. I'm going to do another one of these that's going by every single sign, right? So we're going to do Venus if you're in Pisces, Venus if you're in Aries, Venus. So what sign, you know, what's Venus mean to you on what sign you're at? If you know your rising sign, even better, because that's specifically what it has to do with those rising signs. So look out for that one next. Again, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.